Hello there everyone, and welcome back to more Sonic Rush for the DS. In this part we'll be going through the level which is Huge Crisis, as far as I'm aware. So, if you remember back in my Crash Bandicoot LP, I said about, I think it was at the Native Fortress or the Great Gate, that there was like this sample or so. That same sample is being used right here in this song, which we're not gonna get to hear because we're already into the bloody special stage. Oh well, I guess we'll hear it also afterwards. I always found it quite interesting really to find that it exists in Crash Bandicoot. I don't know why I said Bandicoot like that, but it's also in Sonic Rush as well. The homing attack, by the way, in the special stages, gives you like 5 extra rings, so that's kind of why I'm doing that a lot. If you look to the right, you can see that they're just like slowly going up. When I was a kid, it took me a while to figure that one out actually. I just assumed that when you hit the enemies, it was just to clear the path. But no, it's just for a whole pack of rings, so check that out. The numbers get more and more bloody intense as well over time. Hence why I keep saying that, you know, trying to do this on a PC with like a mouse and that is just not the bloody same. I keep saying bloody, I say that a lot. You're just gonna have to get used to it. I do often say that. I noticed as well, like in the last episode. Oh, I screwed up the thing. Okay. I forgot I did that, because once again, I don't really remember much of this footage. This footage was recorded back in December. Turns out I got that wrong as well, by the way. I said that the last time I uploaded episode 3 was January. No, it was about December. I couldn't believe it was December. It was like, really? Was that long ago? Gracious me. But yeah, when it comes to like doing the homing attack on the purple bot that flies by, I said that there was like 5 rings in the sky. I sort of like spoilt that because you didn't see that at all in the previous episode. You'll see it though, perhaps maybe in either this one or the next one after that. I know it's definitely present in like the 7th special stage. So, you know, oh boy. The 7th special stage sure is something, and well, you'll see when we get to it also. Yeah, this is what I mean. Look how fast this is. Trying to drag the mouse and click all that. No, that's just not happening. This game was literally designed for the DS. I wonder how that side of things would have worked though for the modern side, because this game's never got ported, and I think that's the main reason why, because there's a lot of touch screen and flicking between the 2 screens that I just find it hard to transfer or so. But I don't really understand it on the gameplay side, because I mean, well, you can easily just put 2 screens together and you can still see what you're doing, because your eyes just flick, you know, from left to right in this case. If you're talking about it on like a big ass 1080p display. Oh, there are so many of these bloody rooms as well, with like these enemies that just stop you dead in your tracks. It's like, what? It doesn't last long at all, but I mean, you know, for a game called Sonic Rush, you wanna be rushing. Not particularly just waiting to defeat all the enemies and such. Plus, I'm pretty sure there's like maybe parts of this level where at times it can get a little bit confusing, because you'll dash through and then suddenly there'll be this thing that just randomly crushes you. I want to go more over actually the stage design, because I mentioned that also in the last episode, but I didn't quite go over it fully. What I mean by that is, like, I don't remember much of the levels because half the time you were just literally dashing through them, and well, I don't know, there's nothing really that stands out too much. There's like fun set pieces, but in terms of like from start to the end for level design, I don't remember a thing about it. Every time I play Sonic Rush, I just run through the stage blindly in this case, or I just have no idea. So, you know, that is rather strange. See, in other Sonic games, like say, for instance, Sonic Adventure 2, most of the levels in that game I know from like start to end. Like, you know, Oh, right, I got crushed. There you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, what? Just dashing, and then randomly, boom, you're dead. Just because of a flaming, like, thing that you just couldn't see coming. Oh, boy. There are moments like that in Rush that can be a bit... It destroys the flow, but it's not, like, the worst thing ever, but it definitely is a flaw. I'll give you that. But anyway, yeah, in terms of, like, stage design. See, with Sonic Adventure 2 City Escape, I know that level from like start to end because of the fun set pieces and stuff and the fact that things just like stand out. But with Rush, every level's just run through and such. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing when you're playing the game, because like I've said, when you play this game yourself, you have like a fun time, but there's not really much to talk about. Also, when you're just seeing footage, it is one of those games where it's just... You need to play it yourself in the moment to get it as such. I feel like footage doesn't really do it justice as such. That's kind of the interesting thing with this, really. It's like doing an LP of this, I get to see what it kind of looks like where you just see the gameplay itself. And that was a rank A. That's not so bad. Again, the S ranks don't really do anything, so that's why I'm not particularly too bothered. You know, I think it's a difference as well that I actually remembered the name of the stage. Because I always remember the songs, but I don't remember the name of the stage itself. But yeah, it's Huge Crisis. I think I remembered it because last time, well, quite a couple of days ago, actually, because it was like more recent. I mentioned it at the end of the episode. I was just like, the next one is Huge Crisis, and it stuck with me. It's better than like a 5-month thing. Yeah, there's another one right there. Oh, and again. See, just... Okay, don't boost on that bit. Like, how are you supposed to know that? There's no indication that there's nothing that slows it down and stuff. See, like, at least in the Mega Drive and... well, technically, Genesis in, like, America and such. There was always, like, this thing where, like, you go fast around the loops now, and there was always, like, this little thing that just suddenly made you think, right, here's where I need to slow down. There's not really much of that in Rush, and that can be a bit of a problem. Again, it's not like Game Break, and it's just like, hey, definitely lacks polish in places. I would play the samples out loud for you, but unfortunately, most of the time when you're playing this game, all you're going to constantly hear is just Sonic cheering because you're doing like all these tricks and such. So I'd say like if you want to get like a proper gist of the soundtrack, maybe just listen to it in your own time, like on YouTube and such. Because when you're playing the game, you can't bloody hear it. You really can't. It's just too much noise going on. Assuming like you use the trick commands like I do, but it's fun to keep that little boost gauge up. There's actually 2 versions of the soundtrack as well. So you got like the DS version that you're hearing at the minute. But there's also like a CD version, which, well, they sound a bit clearer. But I kind of prefer the DS version, bizarrely enough. Which is kind of strange because it's like more compressed. So you'd think the CD one would be more nice to listen to, but no, not really. I find that the DS one just sounds a little bit better in places. Some of the slowdown in this is kind of messing with me because at times, sometimes I'm thinking it might be like my video editor. But no, like I think I remember actually. There were parts of the game where things just randomly slow down. Oh, this room bloody sucks. I don't like this goddamn room because it's like, got these enemies here and such, and it's easy to fall down these things when you get hit by them. I've had many moments in the past. I didn't die there, but I guess I just got lucky, I suppose. So fancy that. Alright, what rank do we get on this? For act number 2. The ring bonus was terrible. Look at that. 110. Yes. An S. Okay. It's an S rank, apparently. Here we go. There was deaths. There was deaths in that. And apparently it's an S rank. So I'm not too sure what's going on there. Alright, this is the boss fight of this area. It is basically similar to like the first boss, but a bit more advanced. Basically, like you'll see some of the later moves that it does. I've noticed I tend to prefer bosses where you can get them hit like super quickly, where it kind of rewards the player for just acting fast and utilizing stuff around them. When there's a lot of waiting around in bosses, I find that it's just like, ugh. That's kind of why I said in episode 2, when you fought that like water boss, I was like, it was okay, but it's just a bit slow. But this one isn't so bad. I don't know, like so far at the minute, I'd say like my favorite one was like the previous one, because it's like it's got a cool vibe to it as well, with like it being in a fun fair or carnival as such. And eventually, yeah, he goes on to like this phase where he'll go into the background, which actually looks pretty cool for DS standards, where things go like into the foreground and background. I've always kind of appreciated that, especially games like Donkey Kong Country Returns. Goodness me, that took that concept to the max. There were some cool looking things with that. Oh boy, it has been ages though since I played Donkey Kong Country Returns. And you know what's criminal? I've never actually played. I've only played a little bit of it, shall I say, of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. I have that. I have it on the Wii U and the Switch, and for some reason it is just still sitting there. So I need to play that at some point, because I've heard so much good things about that game. Oh my goodness. And if I really enjoyed Donkey Kong Country Returns, then something tells me, you know, I will really like Tropical Freeze. But, well, we'll see when I get to it. I don't know if on every last hit he'll go into the background. He might do, because some bosses do that. I know they particularly do that in Sonic Rush Adventure. Oh, some of the boss fights in Sonic Rush Adventure were pretty interesting as well, as were Rushes. But some of them can be like hit and miss. Alright, there we go. And that is how you do it. At least I think so. I won, so I'm assuming that's how you do it. The reason why I'm saying Eggman negative, by the way, is because, well, I mean, when you say the name, well, what do you think it sounds like? I'm not going to say that. It's a lot easier just saying negative. And also, that was an S rank. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And, well, here's that new character, which they sort of spoilt in the last bloody place. It seems someone is here. I wonder who it is. Indeed. Oh yeah, and Cream's here. Nice. You might be a bit confused at this particular point. That's because the stories sort of like intertwine if you play through Blaze's path, which I'll be showing that off a lot later. I'm going to do like a bit of a different thing with it also, because there's not really much difference when you play as Blaze. Again, it's more fun also when you play it yourself, but in terms of watching it, no, it just looked like the same flaming thing, particularly, so I'll see what I can do with it as such. Oh yeah, forget about her attitude and stuff here. Quite interesting, really. Again, the cutscenes, no, they're just normal cutscenes. Nothing really stands out to me here. And I do believe that is everything. So we'll be going on to Altitude Limit in the next episode. So take care, guys, and I will see you then.